So today we're gonna build another NerdNOS, and I want to take you with me on that journey. So here we go. We do have all parts that we need. In here is, or that right here is the NerdNOS enclosure, which is made out of aluminium. Over here, do we have one NerdNOS? Let me see. Here's the other one. This one is what I'm gonna take. I quickly need to grab myself a new heatsink and then we can start. So here we go. We do have this new heatsink, which is the improved version. There were initially ideas to use just a tiny heatsink of that size, but I quickly figured out that's not a good idea. So I worked with GPIO together in order to make sure that we do have a heatsink that is future-proof, especially when it comes to newer versions. I mean, the NerdNOS right now is running between 100 to 200 gigahash, depending on the chip. This one is undervolted or underclocked, that's how you're gonna say it. And the good and bad thing about this is there's a lot of variance in it. So it could be some of these are running at 150 gigahash and some others might run at 200 gigahash. So a little bit of fluctuation is always in there. But in order to make sure that we do have a good cooled device, we improved a couple of things. And I just quickly want to show you everything and how you do assemble this unit together. This is available as a upgrade kit. You just need to send me a email and I'll make sure to send you one over. But you do see we have everything right here. So I have a fan and it's blowing the air through here, and everything below just gets funneled to the top so that the cooling performance of this is as good as possible. All right, so now the basic thing here, what we need to do is we need to grab ourselves one of the LilyGo T-Displays S3 and we basically just attach it to the bottom like that. Let me quickly do it. Here we go. And then we do have a couple of parts that we need to do. So one thing is that we need to put in the fan, and just let me quickly do this right here. It's a little bit of a tricky thing right here to get everything in place, but here we go. The fan is in there. We can just route the cables through the fins of the heatsink, and now we can basically just try to push it in there. Let me see. So it looks a little bit ugly, and for this part I'll leave everything on here. Let me see, am I correctly in there? No. Need to try to reattach everything. This is a little bit of a, the view is a little bit bad here for me. Let me see. So basically what these things are guides to slide into it. You see there are basically guidelines in there. And I want to make sure that I can put them in there. Oop, the display wasn't attached correctly. Here we go. And now it can just slide in there. Let me double check. Left side is looking good, right side is looking good. So now what we can do is we can just slide it in here. We need to make sure that the funnel is also attached, so everything is a little bit loose, but that's okay. Before we do move on, we need to put in the buttons. So we have the buttons right here, and now I need to try to slide it in there as good as possible. I need to retract it a little bit, because I need to make sure that the funnel is also sitting perfectly in this guide that we do have here. It seems like currently it's not. Here we go. So now we do have this side where we can slide things, and in order to make sure that it does not drag away the buttons, I need to slightly lift up the display and push it forward. Here we go. Perfectly clicky. Good. Funnel is sitting in there. So now we can use the spacers, put them in. We can just turn around the fan a little bit. And now we are more or less done. And what we can do here is quickly clean the screen. And we can use the glass panel here. We can put the glass panel on. I personally love the glass panel. Here we go. Glass panel installed. Now let's get over to the side of the fan. Let's put on the correct side, this one here first. Let me switch the screw head or the bit of my screwdriver. And let's try to put in the screws. Let me already screw that in here. Alright, let me get one of the tiny ones here. So, we have one side almost done. And in order to make sure that it does work, we're gonna plug it in just a second. And I need to flash the firmware, of course, so I want to show you that as well. Because the firmware is available at the web flasher. And wait, do you see everything in here is in place? That looks good. We have the power plug here, and this USB connector is only used for flashing the firmware. You cannot run the NerdNOS off of that. So let me quickly grab a cable to power everything. We do have one right here. I just quickly plug it in. And let's see if it turns on. And it does. So let's see if the screen is also turning on. So I'm back. I just quickly flashed the firmware on here. And if I plug it in right now, it should show. Here we go. We have the NerdNOS firmware on here. And in just a second, it's going to realize, hey, I don't have any Wi-Fi connection. Please set me up. And the cool thing about this is you can now do this with the HashLink app. I will show you this in just a second. But the first thing I need to do here is I need to make sure that the new display comes up here in a second. Let's see if we can see that. Here we go. It shows you setup via HashLink app or via Wi-Fi. So the initial setup via Wi-Fi is still possible, but it's a little bit more easier with the HashLink app, and especially you can monitor the NerdNOS with the newest firmware with it anyway. So let me put on the other side here so that it does look finished and beautiful. And then we're gonna set it up together via the HashLink app. So here we go. Let's plug it in, this beautiful device. And we do see the NerdNOS firmware in there. It's running, it's coming up, and it tells me already set up via HashLink app. All right, so here's the HashLink app. Let's see if I can focus on it. I just go to the plus sign, I say set up via Bluetooth, and here we already do have the NerdNOS. So I can connect to it. It already shows me the NerdMiner access point, which I just changed to my home Wi-Fi. And I need to put in my Wi-Fi password, 1 second. Here we go. Now public pool is in here as the standard. You can obviously change it to whatever you like. Let me quickly change it to another Bitcoin address. Here we go. I just put in another Bitcoin address. I just press on the OK and I say, all right, apply configuration. And it says device will restart with new settings, which should happen any moment. And we do see the device right here is now up and running. The temperature is rising in here, and we already do have some hash rate. Initially, the hash rate is super high. This will go down after a while, so usually it will sit between like 100 and 200 gigahashes, something like this. And this unit right here will be shipped over to Yggdrasil. If you want to check out their shop in the video description down below, you can do so. With that, I thank you for checking out this video and see you in the next one.